yesterday, Ram, when we were shooting from underneath the barrels, Ram had brought up kneeling, what the proper way, the proper way to like kneel, and I gave a short explanation on different kneeling positions. So what we're going to do right now is all of the positions from standing to prone, and explore the variations of them and what works best for you and what's okay and probably not okay. Okay? So obviously from a standing position, you want to have a good base, shoulder width, lean forward a little bit, right? You know, dig your stock, you know, into your shoulder pocket, pull the rifle in, and you know, you have a good solid fighting base, right? Turn each way, you can move forward easily, you can move back easily, you can move sideways easily. Standing positions are pretty basic. Of course, if you're standing still during a firefight, you might be getting shot. Kneeling, there's a few different ways to kneel. You go straight down like this, which ends up with a smaller base. You'll oftentimes see me, if I go straight down, you'll see me prop a leg out for ballast, right? And that allows me to go out from, you know, cover and concealment, you know, or I'll change positions and do it like this, but I'll get another leg out there that allows for ballast. Both knees, the problem with both knees is, not that there's a big problem, but both knees is, it's hard to get up from it. You know, it's hard to just pop, you know, pop right up from both knees. So 1 foot down and one knee, you know, 1 foot down, one knee down is, in my opinion, always going to be the better, you know, the better kneeling position. Now yesterday, and I don't think I'm flexible enough to do it, Ram did so, I don't even, come over here and show me what you did. Show them what you did when you took that knee.
The same position.
Yeah, same position you were doing.
You were doing a split foot.
Yeah, so see how he folds his foot up underneath his ass? That's like almost a kneeling or sitting position. I can't do that. I would never walk again. But it's something that he operated from really well. You know, so there's another variation of it. All right. You step forward, so you're engaging. You step forward, right, and that's a nice squared off kneeling position. Now you end up being bladed. You kind of rock back and forth in this one, but it's easy to get up from because you just hinge. You know, same thing with stepping back, going back into a kneeling position. You just end up going backwards, but you still end up sort of thin. So you end up with this. I still end up ballasting myself like that. Now, coming back, let me see if I can do this. And sitting on your foot like that, and even having a foot out. You'll see guys do sometimes. I think you did that yesterday. You know, this is pretty stable. It's killing my knee, but it's pretty stable. So that's kneeling and variations of that kneeling. And then sitting. There's a lot of different cool sitting positions for stability reasons, right? So the Afghan shitter, which Warlock showed us yesterday, yeah, he was nice enough to do the squat under the barrels instead of kneeling, which with the joint problems, I don't blame him. But I mean, there is, you know, just down like this, right? This would be, I would consider a seated position, right? Another seated position, just like we were talking about earlier. And seated position. Seated position. Or you cross over, you have this knee up. And this is nice and stable. Seated position. Going down to prone, is probably the most abusive to your body. Right? So going down to prone, some people fall. Yesterday Warlock basically fell into prone. He halfway to his knees, he went right down, bam, and landed in prone. You know, some guys were taught to go down butt stock first and land into prone, which is fine if you have a fixed butt stock.
Yeah.
But these things sometimes have a tendency to bust through that little pin that's holding them in place when you do that. So when you have the old what was that, A1?
A1, A2.
A2, those fixed butt stocks, that's, or an AK, bam, down into the dirt, it's fine. But you end up breaking these butt stocks when you're doing that. So generally, I'll go to a knee, right? And then from here, with the firearm still pointed outward, you come down, you kick that one leg out, and then kick the other one out, and lower yourself down. Right? Somebody's bound to mention feet being flat or toes down, feet being flat. I don't give a shit. If you are doing competition, you're getting your breathing down perfect, right? And you're really, you know, doing these long range things, then yes, every inch of your body that can stay on the ground will help stabilize you. But something like what we're using here, and you're actively engaging somebody with your carbine or your short barrel rifle or whatever it is, and you're probably going to move from this position right away. You know, you went to this position for the engagement, and then you're going to roll or get up out of the way. I don't care if you're like this. I don't care if you're like this, right? But yes, it is true that while doing super long range shit, every inch of you that can be on the ground is absolutely helpful. But then getting up from here is the same thing. You're going to plant yourself, get a knee underneath you, hinge up, and right back up to a standing position. Does it hurt to have on the mag? No. Not in an AK, not in an AR, not in anything that I know of. Does it hurt to be resting your mag on there?
It does need a new rifle.
Huh?
It does need a new rifle.
It does need a new rifle. Yep. So, everybody got it? Because the next drill we're going to do is all dry fire stuff, and it's going to be starting from a standing, and I'm going to call a position. How you end up in that position when it comes to kneeling and sitting is on you, right? What your body can handle, what your joints can handle, and things like that. But as far as going prone, I'd really like to see prone, you get down to prone the way I just showed you. For a couple reasons. A, it's easier on your body, it's easier on your firearm, yeah, just all the way around, it's less impact. I don't know who has elbow pads and knee pads here that want to get them now, but that wasn't so bad.